forms and spaces that might be appropriate in different climates and different cultures would be different, but the lessons would be the same. It's been a great pleasure to share some of these experiences with you, so thank you very much.
Pensábamos no tomar preguntas porque es muy complicado con tanta gente, pero dado que es la 1:30, yo creo que podemos, si alguien desea intervenir, por supuesto, Norma está encantado de contestar.
Why don't we just say, I'll come back and have a dialogue another time.
One question.
Only one question.
Hello, Mr. Foster. First of all, congratulations for the presentation. I think it has been really interesting. And I just wanted to know, what would you say to a first-year student of architecture?
I'd say that it might be many years in the future that you might look back to your first year and discover, as I did recently, relatively recently, that a lot of the things that with my colleagues I've been pursuing, for example, the idea that instead of making separate buildings, you might have the umbrella of a single building. And that is the story of Beijing Airport, the story of Hong Kong Airport. If any of you are familiar with our earlier work, there's a part of the University of East Anglia which has something called the Sainsbury Centre. And under one roof, there is exhibition for an extraordinary collection. There's a senior common room. There are study areas for people studying art. There's a restaurant. There's a temporary exhibition. They always imagined that that would be a complex of buildings. And the commission was, would you design this group of buildings? Through working on that project, that design evolved as one single building under one roof. And it was only when one of my younger directors, who was appointed as professor at Stuttgart University, and he said, would you come and talk to the students, and would you share, could you relate back to what you did as a student? And I discovered really that in a way, the source, the inspiration for those ideas of bringing activities together, consolidating them, integrating them, was in the very first design that I did as a student, in my first year, in 1956. And the first design scheme was always for a cottage in the Lake District and a boathouse. And so in a way, how can I say, quite intimidated, I looked at what other students had done in the past. They'd all done a cottage, they'd all done a boathouse. And I went in the opposite direction, and I put the cottage and the boathouse under one roof, on the edge of the lake, with a glass wall between the cottage and the dock that would house my boats. And I had this romantic idea of having something like a reaver, you know, very, very beautiful sort of wooden boat. And that would be the art object. And I would sit there in my cottage looking through the glass wall at the boat. And it was only so many years later that I realized the same true as the measured drawings, which are in my third year. So I think maybe my answer to you is that really you squeeze everything you can from every opportunity, because every opportunity is a learning opportunity. And it will only be years ahead that you can actually answer that question yourself, or somebody will point it out to you more likely.
Thank you very much.
Okay.